And this is the paradox of the Christian faith, that freedom comes through surrender. Victory comes through submission. It's all backwards. It's different than what the world tells you. D.L. Moody says this: the world has yet to see what God will do with the man fully consecrated to him. Fear of surrender will keep you from finding freedom in Jesus. There's a video on YouTube, I've watched it dozens of times, but it's how to catch a baboon. And so it takes place like in the jungles of Africa, there on the plain, there's a baboon and there's a guy who wants to catch it. And so what he does is he goes to the termite mound. Now, I didn't know this about termite mounds, but they're almost like made out of concrete, really, really hard. And so he goes and he drills a hole in the termite mound, and the baboon's just watching him. They're really curious animals, evidently. And he takes this little silver trinket, like a little silver ball or bell or something, and he places it in the hole, and the baboon sees the whole thing go down. The man walks off, baboon climbs down the tree, walks up to the termite mound, puts his hand in, grabs it, but can't get his fist out, right? And so the man then walks up to the baboon, approaches the baboon. Baboon begins to go crazy. He starts squealing and screeching and flipping. It's like he's gonna rip his arm off. He can't get his fist out. All he has to do is let it go. And the man just slips the noose around his neck and takes him to captivity. And I wonder, like, you don't think that Satan wants to take some of you or all of you to captivity? Using the thing that you're afraid to let go? You think he doesn't want to keep you a slave to sin? It's time to give it up. All he has to do is let it go.
I'm praying that as the storm rages around you, that there's peace within your soul because Jesus is on your boat. Verse 25, look what it says. So the disciples went and woke him and said, Lord, save us. And haven't we all done the same thing? Haven't we all had this moment where we go, I'm gonna solve this problem, I'm gonna fix it, I'm gonna make it better. And God's saying, the storm's raging around you. Just turn to me and ask me for some help. I can help get you through this.
You know what it's like to ask that question? You asking some version of it now even? And we are all too familiar with the waiting that this life in this world deals us. With another round of resumes to send out, or another round of chemo, another negative on another pregnancy test, another underwhelming first date, another specialist, another gray winter day, another shift at the same old job, or another afternoon staring at the four walls of a prison cell just waiting for the night to come. How can this be it?
Some of us here today, we are facing circumstances and troubles that are so big, we need to go to God and say, God, I can't do this. This is beyond measure. This is above my strength. My trust is not in myself. It's in you alone.
It's true. God made you beautiful.
You're beautiful. You're attractive. You're one of a kind. You've been crowned with favor. You're a prize. Have an image of victory. You're not weak, defeated, overcome by problems. You're a warrior. You've been armed with strength for every battle. You are full of can-do power. The forces that are for you are greater than forces that are against you.
Well, friend, maybe you're in a storm right now, like the disciples in this boat. Here's my question. Who's in the boat with you? It's Jesus. He's in our boat, He's in our life, and we would do well to remember who He is and what He can do. He still quiets storms, and He can quiet the heart of His child in the middle of a storm.
I love that thought.
You see, God is in the business of using broken people, lost people, lame people. He's in the business of taking them and changing them and teaching them how to fish for people, to find those lost souls who want to be found, who are ready to change their life.
When you're under attack, it's easy to think, I can't go on. The lie Satan wants you to believe is, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. You can't keep doing this. His lying voice says, you can't keep going. It's too difficult. You can't do this. That lie is most powerful when you're lonely and tired, when you can barely summon the strength to get up, let alone keep going. Have you ever been there? Maybe you're there now. Don't quit. Don't buy into the lie that you can't make it. God knows what you're going through, and He'll give you the strength to make it. If you quit, you'll never receive the reward. Satan wants you to quit before the harvest. Don't do it. Don't quit. Don't become weary in doing good. For at the proper time, at God's time, there will be a harvest if you don't give up. Don't quit.
Satan wants to pull you one way, God the other. Satan has never done you any good. He's lied to you, deceived you, and made you promises. Not a single one of them has ever come true.
Fear is a real thief in our lives. Isaiah 41:10 says, fear not, there's nothing to fear. Well, isn't that interesting? For I am with you. That's the only answer He gives, because I'm with you. And so if we really know who the Lord is, I'm not talking about just going to church, but I mean, if you really know who the Lord is, then we don't have to know what He's going to do. We don't have to know when He's going to do it. We don't have to know what the way is going to be. We just say, Lord, I know You're with me, and therefore I can do what I need to do. Because when fear causes you to stop and to do nothing, it's the master spirit, I believe, that the enemy uses to try to keep us from fulfilling our destiny. And so he tells us there's no way. He says, you got to be afraid of this. You know, if you failed before, then you got to be afraid that you're going to fail again. But God says, fear not, for I am with you. I love that. There's nothing to fear. Do not look around you in terror and be dismayed. You know, it's one of our problems. We look around us too much instead of looking up. The more you stare at your problems, the more you rehearse your problems, the bigger they're going to get. Every time you go through something difficult, it makes you a little bit stronger. Just a little bit stronger.
I was visiting a man not long ago who knew he didn't have much time left, and he was trying to get things made right in his life. And he had some really beautiful examples of things he had done, just being intentional. And he had written letters to his daughter, just asking for forgiveness and trying to own some things. He had written a letter to his ex-wife, extending forgiveness and asking for forgiveness. And he had really worked hard at making sure all the finances were in order, and he had next to him a folder with all the forms that needed to be filled out, and here's how everything can be transferred over, and he'd made sure everything was made right. But he said to me, I just want to make sure I make myself right with God before I die. And I said, well, you can't do that. You cannot make yourself right with God. It doesn't matter how in order you get your paperwork. That's not what it's going to get you. He's not going to, when you get to heaven, He's not going to say, let me see the paperwork. Let me just make sure everything's in order. You can't make yourself right with God. But Jesus is our justifier and our reconciler. He's the one who makes us right with God. So that chain that you've been carrying around, that I got to make myself right with God chain, He breaks it. That chain that sometimes gets labeled as religion, He sets you free from that. That chain that is guilt and shame, and you've got to be good enough to make up for what you did, He sets you free from that burden.
Spending time with God means thanking Him continually. You know, in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 18, God says, in everything give thanks, for this is the will of God. And He says, in everything give thanks. Why should I give thanks in everything? Because in everything, God's going to provide.
And I want to suggest that you always put your trust in Him. Father, I entrust. I'm going to trust You with my life. I'm going through this dark period right now. I don't know which way I'm going. I don't know which way is up. I don't know where I'm going to be in the next 5 days, much less 5 months. But I'm going to entrust my spirit into Your care.
The thing is so many times the hearts of God's people are divided. We have our trust in many other things other than having it firmly anchored in the Lord alone. God is attracted to a grateful heart. An attitude of gratitude brings both His presence and His blessings. God is attracted to grateful hearts. Consider this, and I bet it's a verse that you know, Psalm 100 and verse 4. Enter into His gates with thanksgiving or gratitude, and His courts with praise. Be thankful unto Him and bless His name. Through thanksgiving, we enter into His gates.
Put Jesus first. Because I've come to tell you that when you put Jesus first, He is able to do a sudden, and He is able to do a radical and a complete change. When you put Jesus first, He's able to effect a fundamental change in your life. He's able to overthrow certain powers that rule the decisions in our ways of thinking and in our direction. When we put Jesus first.